And we are back on Open Line. We're glad that you have been with us this evening. A lot of people calling in. We're talking with Clint Kelly from the Kelly firm. A lot of good discussion going on this evening. I know a lot of times if something happens to you or a friend or a family member, whether it's at the doctor's office, the dentist office, the hospital, and nobody wants something bad to happen, but if something does go wrong, you have a lot of questions, and we're really glad that we've been able to answer a lot of those questions this evening with attorney Clint Kelly. We want to get to as many calls as we can in this final long segment that we have this evening, so we're going right back to the lines. Mary is on the line with us right now. So Mary, thank you for your patience. We're glad that you called in. And do you have a question or a comment for Clint?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
When my son was born, I kept mentioning to the pediatrician that I felt that something was wrong. He wasn't babbling, he wasn't making sounds, and it took until he was 16 months old for the pediatrician to finally refer us over to Wilkerson. And then we were on a 5-month wait list, and so by the time my son finally got any treatment and diagnosis, he was 23 months old. And at this point, he's 3.5, and am I just too far out of the statute of limitation? Has the time or the clock already run? Because I just can't get over the fact that my child has been profoundly affected by not being diagnosed and referred for treatment sooner.
All right, well, Mary, there's a few questions I have to ask. First of all, what's wrong with your child?
It's hearing.
Okay.
It's his hearing, and so even at his age now, he just has a very difficult time, even with 2 years of speech therapy, being able to regain what he lost by not being able to hear. He had surgery in April of 2014 that gave us some correction, and actually we're facing another surgery next month.
When do you contend that the pediatrician was negligent? In the course of your child's growth, 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, however long it was, when do you think that the pediatrician was negligent the first time?
Well, I would certainly think by the time a baby is a year old, if they're not babbling, it would seem to me, and because I kept presenting this to him at every well baby visit, and he'd check him out, and he said, he looks fine. I don't think there's a problem. I just think that you're just over-concerned.
And he was already was he having hearing problems from the time of birth, or did this,
Well, at birth, they give them that very preliminary screening, and he passed that preliminary screening, but apparently his hearing degenerated after that.
All right. The answer to your question is you may still have a case. There is a 3-year statute of repose, Chuck. I haven't discussed that with the viewers yet, but in Tennessee we talk about the statute of limitations and there being 1 year. Well, there's another statute, another protection for hospitals and doctors, saying that if you don't file your lawsuit within 3 years of the Negligent Act, it doesn't matter when you discovered your lawsuit. You are barred. You cannot bring your case. The question here is, did Mary's child, did the Negligent Act, the failure to diagnose, did that occur within a 3-year period? And it sounds like it may well have, but you've got to move quick, Mary. I mean, there's no more, dragging your heels on this. I'll be glad to speak with you or have Pat speak to you and get some information, try to figure out whether you have a case, but you've got to call tomorrow if that's what you want to do. I'm not saying for sure you do have a case, but you can't sit and wait anymore. You got to move on it.
Yes, sir. I totally agree, and I will call tomorrow. I will call your office.
Thank you.
Well, Mary, we're glad that you were watching tonight. We appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Hopefully that helped, and make sure you hang on the line. We'll get you that number, and you can call and speak with Pat in Clint's office. So we're going back to the lines. Again, thank you for your patience. We're going to Annette right now. Annette, thanks so much for calling in. Do you have a question or a comment for Clint?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, go ahead.
My question is similar to the previous question. I have a very unique case, I've been told, but I really need to find out whether or not the statute of limitations is from the moment that you discover there's a problem to the point, or from the time that the injury has been fixed. From that point, at what point are you able to, does the statute of limitations apply?
It's the first, Annette. It's when you discover the injury, not when the injury occurs, but when you discover it.
Okay.
Because there's some situations where the patient understands there's been an injury but does not connect it with negligent care. Sometimes things happen and people say, well, you know, bad thing happened to me, and then after time they figure out, uh-oh, it was caused by Dr. So-and-so, or because I didn't get certain treatment. So that's why we have the discovery rule. So you judge the year from the time you discover it.
The incident that occurred, I was not given all of the information I needed in the very beginning. We didn't find out because basically I'm allergic to my pacemaker. And it's such a rare occurrence that we didn't even, it was new for the nurse, it was new for the doctor involved, and so I had a revision done months later because we were trying to find a solution to the problem, calling around to the different manufacturers, even to the point of having to contact someone a company out of the country. That's how rare it is. And the allergist that I saw stated her recommendation on multiple occasions has been to just have it removed completely. But of course, I have to have the pacemaker. And so I just wanted to know, do I have a case? Can I, because this happened last year, and I just had the revision done September of last year. So does that year, do I fall within the statute of limitations? Can I go forward with this?
My answer is maybe, because I don't know enough about your facts to be able to tell you definitively, but the way you're describing this, you may have a case. Your case may be timely.
So, Mary, the best thing to do is hold on the line. We will get you the number, and you can call the Kelly firm first thing in the morning, and that way you can find out. So, and it's like you said, one of the things, and by the way, thank you so much, Annette, for calling in this evening. The best thing that you can do, though, is call and find out, because like you said, it doesn't cost anything to call.
Well, they're calling tonight. Look at the people who are calling tonight. Look how many of these calls, Chuck, have been from people who may have their case barred by the statute of limitations simply because they didn't call. And now you see the importance of calling. They have questions now. Ask these questions closer to the time of injury so that you make sure you've got your rights.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will put that number up so that if you do need to call the Kelly firm, you can do that. So come on back with us. You're watching Open Line.